let's talk about excitement. Let's talk about some young guys who are ready to take baseball by storm, and just the perfect confluence of name and age. The three young rookie studs that people are going to be watching this season, all named Jackson, all exactly 20 years old. These guys were, most of them, teenagers throughout all of last year here. You got Jackson Merrill, who was maybe the guy we're most surprised to have started on opening day. Jackson Chourio, who got the contract extension before he played, that sort of indicated, all right, he's the guy in Milwaukee. And now the most highly anticipated debut of a top prospect, the number one prospect in baseball, according to us at Just Baseball and pretty much every other outlet, Jackson Holliday is up. Which one is going to be the best player this season, Patrick?
That is a fun question to answer, but very much a hard one. I'm going to put Jackson Merrill on the back burner here and really say it comes down to Jackson Chourio and Jackson Holliday. Holliday just has great baseball IQ. All these guys do, but has so many things going for him that it's interesting to think about what his ceiling could be, because I think he has the best floor of anyone. I mean, this is someone that was around the 2007 Rockies when they went to the World Series. He was in their clubhouse as a kid hitting wiffle balls, past reporters' heads. And we've all seen those clips of him swinging a wiffle ball bat. And, when your dad's a big leaguer, that's going to give you a certain kind of polish that's going to allow, again, your floor to be that much better. And I was thinking about this from the perspective of, will he have a better career than his father? And, there's about 350 players in the Hall of Fame, or rather people in the Hall of Fame. They're not all players. And there's been 22,000 major leaguers that we've seen in the history of the game. And Matt Holliday, while he's not a Hall of Famer, he's very much in the Hall of Very Good. And I think you could almost make a case for him. It's not a great one, but I think you could make a case for him as saying, hey, look, he does have somewhat of a resume, not good enough, but you could at least put a resume together for him. So he's really like in the top 1,000 players out of 22,000. Like, we're talking top 4 percentile. How can Jackson Holliday, despite being the number one overall prospect right now, have a career that's that good? That is such an undertaking. That is, it's just a difficult task that almost makes me say that I hope he proves me wrong. It seems insurmountable to have as good of a career as his father did. That being said, back on track, I kind of tend to think maybe someone like Jackson Chourio might end up having that better career right now, and he's had a little bit extra big league experience, of course, which is nice. Maybe a little less pressure. He's operating in not in full secrecy, but he's up there in Milwaukee. A little less attention in the NL Central. So for right now, I think I would kind of lean towards Chourio over Jackson Holliday.
Yeah, it's a really interesting question for sure to look at those two. But I actually also want to touch a little bit more on what you were saying with Matt Holliday, because there was the hype video that came out before he debuted, and in there they had Matt saying he used to be Matt Holliday's son, now I'm Jackson Holliday's dad. I don't know if it's quite there yet. I mean, we'll see what happens here. He's gotten so much hype as a prospect that his name is certainly standing on its own. But you look at the career of Matt Holliday. 7-time All-Star, 4-time Silver Slugger, and a career 299 batting average, which is really impressive. He got over 2,000 hits, over 300 home runs. You're right. It's numbers that probably don't get induction into the Hall of Fame, but a great, great career. I think when it comes to Jackson Holliday trying to live up to that, I don't know how much power he's going to tap into, how much. He's just, like you said, the floor is so high with him. He's going to hit for a high average. He's going to get on base a ton. He's going to be sure-handed in the field. He's just a really great player to plug into that Orioles team. I don't know if he's going to be perennial All-Star or not. And that's sort of what his dad was. If you're a 7-time All-Star, that's a perennial All-Star. So that's going to be a long, long conversation that we will be having to monitor his career. But to, again, bring it back to this season, yeah, I like your pick of Jackson Chourio because he's electric, and he might have a better opportunity to shine on a team that doesn't have as many guys. Jackson Holliday is batting ninth right now. Jackson Chourio, I think, is still batting leadoff. So, or at least near the top of that lineup. That's a distinction there where Chourio might just have a better opportunity to, have a completely open green light every time he touches first base to steal. Jackson Holliday, you might have to think a little bit because the top of the Orioles lineup is up and you might not want to take the bat out of their hands. So, due to circumstance, I think Chourio might have the better numbers this season.
Yeah, great point about where Holliday is at in the lineup, and I think that's going to help him a lot, to protect him. But at the same time, you also have Jorge Mateo that's there that can play his position. Ramon Urias. So there are a couple options. Jordan Westberg was more second base than anything last year. So there are some players there now. If the Orioles are calling Jackson Holliday up, it's because they want him to play regularly, so he will have that opportunity. But it's like you said, I think Chourio is going to have an opportunity to have a little bit more fun, slightly easier competition there in the NL Central rather than that volatile AL East. But if anyone's going to be able to handle the pressures of that division in the AL East, it's going to be someone like Jackson Holliday, who already got a taste of it, frankly, in the International League. I talked with so many players from NL West franchises, and people are a little more easygoing out on the West Coast. Same is true, in the minor leagues and in the Cal League, the Northwest League, even to a degree the Texas League. But if you're talking Eastern League and the International League, AA and AAA on the East Coast, Red Sox fans, Yankees fans, Phillies fans, they can get volatile, and you can really feel what it's like as you get closer to the big leagues, what that pressure is like and how the fans can get right on top of you. So Holliday's already had that experience. It's going to be exciting to watch him play, regardless of if he is the best Jackson or the worst Jackson, which is still the third best Jackson.
Yes, in this group for sure. And I think, one of the points you made there that is interesting. If we were to just make a pick right now, if we had to lay money down on who's going to have the better season, there is a world where Jackson Holliday gets sent down, and I don't think there's a world where Jackson Chourio gets sent down. And the reason I say that is because the Orioles could just plug in Kobe Mayo. I mean, they have a million guys that they could plug into their infield. Now, do I think that's going to happen? Absolutely not. I would say it's maybe a 5% chance that he's going to struggle to that degree. But if we're throwing that into the mix when Chourio is pretty much guaranteed to be in that lineup no matter what, the contract already, and their alternatives just aren't as good in Milwaukee as they are in Baltimore, I think that's another thing that you just sort of put into the Chourio camp of saying he might just have the better rookie season. If we went to the career, though, that's where I don't know. That's where it might tip back over to Jackson Holliday. He's the number one prospect in baseball for a reason.
Yeah, Jackson Holliday is going to be in games to help try to win the game, whereas Jackson Chourio might be more about that development. We've seen him bat leadoff. He's hit eighth or ninth in the order too, depending on the opposing starting pitcher. So he definitely has a lot more of a pillow. But I think in many ways Jackson Merrill also has somewhat of a pillow, surrounded by all those stars. Really getting the rub from his teammate there on his left, our right, in Fernando Tatis Jr. saying, "Hey, I was just like this kid coming up." And, to make your major league debut in South Korea, not very many players. I did go back and look. I get obsessed about certain things. And I was thinking about writing an article. I was like, no one really cares about this. But like players who made their major league debut on foreign soil, not including Canada, of course. And so for him to be a part of that whole circus, and still to be able to go out there playing a brand new position, like that's really impressive. And so in a lot of ways, I think Merrill and Chourio are both, doing it in a really good setting that's a little bit softer than in the middle of the AL East against the Red Sox at Fenway Park. I mean, think about that. When I alluded to Jackson Holliday, being in the clubhouse of the Rockies in 2007, that's where Matt Holliday made his first World Series appearance. Eventually did win a ring with the Cardinals, but Jackson Holliday is a little kid, getting carried around by his mother at Fenway Park. Lo and behold, that's where he makes his major league debut, wearing number 7, a number that his father wore for a long period of his career in St. Louis. So it's amazing how those things can be so cyclical in baseball. It's why we love the game so much.
It is, and there's no better place to make your debut. I think that's got to be And I've been to Fenway, and that's the stadium that just it even when you're in it, it almost doesn't feel real. It's just like you're stepping into history, and it also like that monster is so close when you're actually like you see it on TV and it jumps out, but when you're in person, like man, like I could get a hit off that monster, and then you look at the guy pitching, like okay, I probably couldn't get a hit off that monster, but yeah, that's a great place to make your debut, and it's going to be awesome to see all three Jacksons. The Jackson 3 may be here.
And I tell you what, because we already know Tyler O'Neill heard us pick Michael Conforto over Tyler O'Neill. He went off. And now Jackson Merrill, the clear third place finisher in the Battle of the Jacksons. Folks, Jackson Merrill about to have a big week. That's the Who's Better Baseball bump.
Let's look at the betting odds at BetMGM and see Jackson Merrill's Rookie of the Year, because you might want to take that because of the jinx we just put on him.